Yo, what is up, y'all? This is Travis, aka The Raw View. Today we're taking a look at the MK Disco mechanical keyboard. So in the box of the MK Disco, you get a manual, an extra space bar, a keycap puller, a USB cable, and a Ducky 2016 keycap. At checkout, you have the option of adding on white or black Ducky keycaps for an extra $10, which is what I did here. This is a 10 keyless keyboard with very thin bezels. It has a very simple look that I absolutely love. It is super easy to clean, unlike my Corsair K70 keyboard, which is a nightmare to clean. The keyboard is built very solid. It doesn't feel cheap at all. On the back side, you have dip switches that allow you to do things like window key lockout, switch control and caps lock, and switch Windows key with the Alt key. On the back, it has 3 channels for you to route your USB cable. They have partnered with Ducky to make the PCB for this keyboard. Basically, it's a 10 keyless Ducky Shine 5, missing just a few lighting features. So typing on this keyboard has been an absolute joy, and that kind of surprised me because they don't use Cherry MX switches. Instead, they use KB talking switches. So in the past, I have owned 5 mechanical keyboards. 4 of them use Cherry MX brown switches, and 1 of them use Cherry MX blues. And I'm going to go ahead and say this, that I like the KBT talking switches more than I like Cherry switches. And that's a big statement because everyone's like all about Cherry switches, and that's kind of how I've been for the past couple years. But out of 5 Cherry keyboards, right, 4 of them had keys that made springing noises. Even my Corsair K70 has a couple keys on it that you can actually hear the springs. So with the KB talking switches, I have not experienced any spring noise whatsoever with this keyboard, and this was the brown switch one. But then I was like, okay, if this keyboard's really good, I have to get another one because I want to check the quality control over multiple different switch types, right? So here I actually ordered another MK Disco, and this one's rocking blue KB talking switches. Super impressed. I really like these keys. And let's just say for a second, I didn't have bad luck with Cherry MX keyboards, right? And say if there was no spring noise, how would these keys stack up to them? Well, I would say that it would be a draw. I mean, the actuation force feels almost identical. The travel feels almost identical. The force that's needed feels identical. They're so good. Bottom line is that I would recommend these switches. So this is a driverless keyboard, which I personally really like. Basically, you plug it into any computer and it's going to work. The bad news is that there is a slight learning curve when it comes to changing stuff on your keyboard, such as the LEDs. So this keyboard actually has a microprocessor and a controller that allows you to adjust stuff like the lighting and pulling rate for this keyboard. The first couple of times you go to change the color of your keyboard, you're going to have to look at the manual. You have control of the RGB lights inside of the keyboard and the brightness. If you press the function key plus the space bar, you can basically see every color that the keyboard can actually make, and then you can just select one and it will change the whole keyboard to that color. When you set it to white, the white has a slight bluish tint to it like all RGB LEDs do. It has some LED effects like color cycling, raindrop, and reactive mode. And then you can make custom zones that light up different colors or even have different effects going on. The only lighting effect that I wished that this keyboard had that I couldn't get it to replicate was a breathing mode. And that might be added later in firmware, and if it is, I will leave an annotation on the screen saying yes. You can also adjust the speed of all the lighting effects using function and the arrow keys. Last thing is that you can control the USB pulling rate by using the function key F1 through F4 or function key Alt F1 through F4. So what are my final thoughts on the MK Disco? Well, it's amazing, and it is replacing my Corsair K70. That's for sure. This keyboard is not leaving this desk. I absolutely love it. And this keyboard actually surprised me because, again, I have been a huge fan of Cherry MX switches, and I never thought that I would actually change from Cherry MX switches. I didn't see that happening until I got this. And now I kind of look at Cherry MX switches and I'm like, switches, you know, it's like they're no longer the superior ones in my brain. These, I wouldn't even say are the superior ones, but they're on the same playing field, you know? And so anyways, after I basically did that, and then after I got the blue switch one, and that was just as good and just phenomenal and surprised me, I reached back out to mechanicalkeyboards.com and I said, hey, when I do this review, is it possible to give my audience a discount code, because this is a great product? And so anyways, they hooked me up with a discount code for you guys. It's X the Raw View X, and I will leave a link down to where you can buy this keyboard, and that discount code will be down there too. And that's it for this video, man. I, again, really like this keyboard. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this one. I might give it away. If I do give it away, I will give it away on my Twitter, so make sure that you're following me there. Till next time, peace.